Today we're talking about the law of polarity, the principle taught in the Kybalion, one of the most influential books on my journey. The law or the principle of polarity states that there is neither hot nor cold, just varying degrees of scale. This means that in all of the things around us, we are able to witness from that place of observer where things are now. And then if we take this from a physical, right? If it's hot in this room, it's hot in this room. We can turn the heating up, down, open windows, do whatever we want to adjust the temperature of the room. In the physical, it's straightforward, isn't it? It's logical. But what about with emotions? What about with the way that we think, with how we feel about what we're doing in our business, in our life? The same rule, the same principle applies. This is where the magic lies, in the principle of polarity. Let's dive straight in. Welcome to Thrive and Serve, where we focus on thriving as our most authentic selves to powerfully amplify our impact. Today we're talking about the law of polarity, a principle I first discovered when I read a book called the Kybalion, the 12 Hermetic Principles that govern all of creation. Fascinating. So take a deep breath with me. And let's dive in. So in the Kybalion, it sets the scene of all of creation, all of the existence, that they are universal truths of the nature of this existence, of where we are, who we are, what we are, and the context within which we all exist. One of those principles is the principle of polarity. And it essentially states that there is an element of duality in the world. So we have light and dark, good and evil, happy, sad, and this duality exists throughout all of the planes of existence. So mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and there is an element, a paradox. It's called the law of paradox. There is a paradox in our existence in that you can't have one without the other. What if everybody was good? Well, in this reasoning, it wouldn't be possible because there is a spectrum of good and bad. And therefore, there has to be bad in order to be good. The contrast that we see in stories, Star Wars, Disney movies, there's always this arc of the journey, the hero's journey from Joseph Campbell's Hero with a Thousand Faces. And there is always this battle against contrast, the change in the person from who they were to who they become. That difference, that contrast is only appreciated when we've had the low. Without the low, we can't have the high. This is the paradox. There is a sense of having to go through pain in order to appreciate and know what joy feels like. And this, again, it's a paradox. It's not easily digestible, understandable. But what the Kybalion teaches is that these things are, we are able to manipulate them. I was going to say manipulatable. I don't know if that's even a word. But we are able to put our will to change, to make a difference in these things. Now, if it's a physical thing, so if it's light in a room, we can switch a light off and that will make it dark. We've just gone from one end of the polarity of light and dark to the other. That's easy in the physical. So we can make a difference in our actions, in what we do, in how we choose to act in that situation. But then take it into a thought that occurs in your mind, a feeling that we have. Same principle applies. This is the magic of it. Because when we have that, oh no, I can't do it. I'm frightened. I'm frozen. I'm paralyzed in fear. if we are able to observe that emotion, if we're able to see that emotion without being caught up in it, without being swept along by the energy of, oh no, of fear, we're able to do something quite magical. We're able to transmute, to change the degree of scale of that energy. We're able to change that energy intentionally from our place of will. We're able to choose and to change. And this knowing of this principle is the key really to understanding and then being able to manipulate your circumstances in life. Your internal approach, thoughts, feelings, the way that you show up, which in turn changes the world around you, and also how you act in the world. Because you can see and view things differently now. You're able to see that there is a ability for you to choose. I see I'm at the fear level here now. Okay, what can I do to inch forward? What could I do just to shift a little? What could I do just to move a little higher in my energy? So when I'm feeling this oh no, understanding the law of polarity allows us to stop and to take a breath, to see what's happening without being caught up in it. Because if we're caught up in it, we're asleep. We don't realize it. We're just caught up. If we're caught in drama, oh this, oh that, oh the other, you're caught up in the drama. You're being swept along and you are not even aware of what's going on. You're just in the emotion. You in there, your consciousness is inside of that emotion without even realizing it. Happens to all of us. We all get swept along. We all get caught up in emotion, in trains of thought, and we all get carried into what Eckhart Tolle called either the psychological past. Why did I do that? What will she think of me? How can I, Colin, what are you doing? Or the hypothetical future of maybe this will happen, maybe that won't happen. I really need that to happen in order for me to do X. Neither of those things serve you because those things are not this moment right now. What Meister Eckhart called the eternal now. The only moment that matters. The present. This one that you and I are sharing right now. And so when you're able to do that, that's a skill, that's a muscle. That's not something that we teach our kids, and we should. It's not something that's taught to us. It's something that we have to learn through what the Buddhists called zazen, through practice. Through practice. Just as we get stronger at the gym physically by lifting weights and then progressively lifting higher and heavier weights, so too with our awareness. We become more aware when we practice being aware. And the most obvious form of this is meditation. It is the method of sitting and focusing on the breath, focusing on something, and then being in the moment and watching for when that drifts away, when that thought appears, when that emotion comes up, when you spot something if your eyes are open, or when you hear a sound and you are taken along that journey, you are swept away in thought, in emotion, and you're no longer in the present. The recognition of that is the act of meditating. Meditating isn't sat cross-legged with your hands on your lap and your eyes closed. Meditation is the act of recognition, the act of waking up, the act of being aware. And that can happen in all things, in all ways, in everything that you do. I have this red ball on my desk, And this red ball reminds me to wake up. Every time I see that ball and I wake up and I come back to this present moment right now, that is the act of meditation. So you are meditating in all things. That's the goal. The goal of meditation isn't to sit for longer, to be able to concentrate for longer, to be able to hold your focus on your breath for longer. These things happen as you lift the weights, as you become stronger at what you're doing. That's not the goal. The goal is for you to be present in all things, in all circumstance, and all situations, in every moment of your existence, no matter what you are doing, whether you are eating food, walking, in a conversation, driving the car, doesn't matter. It's all the same. That is the goal of meditation. It's a tool, a mechanism, a technique to help you build the muscle of awareness. That is the precursor to what Viktor Frankl talks about when he says, the moment between stimulus and response. In that moment, we have a choice. And in that choice lies our growth and our freedom. That choice can only be made, can only be exercised if we are first aware of the fact that we have a choice. And we can only be aware of that choice, that freedom, when we wake up, when we bring ourselves to the present moment. That's a muscle. That's something that you can develop. No matter where you are on your journey, you can develop that. So if you want to get fit, you can go out for a walk, you can go out for a run, you can go to the gym, you build consistency, all of a sudden you're fit. It's that simple. If you want to become awake, you want to become aware, you want to improve your life circumstance, you want to improve as a person, you want to improve your business, you want to improve everything that you're doing, awareness is the key. Consistency in your practice to become aware. What are you doing today to be aware? Oh, I've not got time. It's something I'm going to do. I know I should be doing this and I should be doing that. Should is one of the worst words you can use. Don't ever use the word should. Honestly, look, do you want to wake up? If you want to wake up, then pause this recording, pause this episode, and breathe now for 60 seconds and watch yourself get swept away. And then recognize and come back. And in the recognizing and coming back, you are meditating. You are awake. You are becoming aware and able to exercise that muscle that allows you the freedom of choice. So when that fear emotion comes up, rather than just caught up in the fear, you're able to sit back and go, oh, fear, I see you. I see what you're doing. You're trying to sabotage me here, aren't you? You're trying to just like jump in and throw a spanner in the works and stop me from expressing this creative energy that's bubbling inside of me, from living and feeling and being in this calling that I'm here to be and to do. And when you see that, now the Viktor Frankl quote comes into play. So you have a choice. You have a choice as to how you respond. And that choice is linked to your awareness, your ability to be present, your ability to be right here, right now. And then when you are right here, right now, nothing else matters and nothing is insurmountable. Because all you have to do, all you have to concern yourself is with what's in front of you right now. And it's always okay. It's always easy. It's always just a little micro thing. Because when we're in our minds, we build it up, we build it up, we build it up. When we're able to sit in that place of equanimity, we're able to see the reality of what is. And we're able to transmute that degree of scale from where it is right now to somewhere different. So that fear energy can be neutralized and can be elevated into a different emotion, a higher frequency. And it can be changed, and you can manipulate those things in and around your very existence. You can manipulate and change how you think. That is your power. You can change the emotions, your reaction. You can't change the emotions, but you can change your reaction to the emotions. The emotions are there for a reason. But you can change your reaction to those things. You can change how you respond. And in that change, in that response, your growth and your freedom truly lies. This is the power of understanding the principle of polarity, that there are degrees of scale, and that they are merely part of a greater whole. All is one. There is a beautiful saying in A Course in Miracles by Helen Schumann that says, darkness is merely the absence of light. I love that saying. It really speaks to me. And when the light shines, the darkness diminishes, because it's just an absence of light. It's just degrees of scale of less and less light, right? That's quite beautiful, isn't it? And so this law of polarity, Miyamoto Musashi, I quote this guy a lot, when you know the way, broadly, you will see it in everything. So here we see the law of polarity at play in light and dark in A Course in Miracles. Einstein's theory of relativity talks about the observer affecting the movement and the interaction between energy and matter. The place you observe from affects, it's relative to the difference that you see, that you perceive. And so that place of the observer is what we're talking about here. You being in that place of the observer is the key really to you being able to transmute, to see. The first step in transmuting is to be able to see. If you can't see, you can't change anything. If you're not awake, if you're not aware, then you're just swept up, like we talked about. Thank you for joining me on Thrive and Serve. I'm Colin Scotland. If you enjoyed this content, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Remember, when we thrive in service of others, it lights our path as well as the path of those around us. So go and let your unique light shine in the world in the way that only you can. I'll see you next time.